Hey guys, welcome to Redemption Metagaming. It's Alex here. We've jumped quite a bit into the future. I've got a brand new mic, which I've had for a while. I've actually done some recording with it, but I accidentally corrupted that recording, so we're going to pretend that didn't happen. And I think that was actually, honestly, for the best, because since that recording, I also jumped and got a new laptop on a really great deal. And it's just good enough to use OBS, so we're going to try out a new format. You'll notice I've got a card up here on Vellake, so I'm using Vellake to kind of search our card images here. I've got a dual monitor situation going on, so I've got a lot going on here today. This is going to be a brand new format. We're going to be going through the scroll around the block tournament that recently occurred. Unfortunately, Rob had some type of issue with the stream or corrupted the recording. So we're only going to be able to watch one game. But I think it's a good game. It'll highlight the deck that I played at the event, and then I'm playing against Marc Vellake, who will be playing a sight lock and Job-based offense. If you have any questions about what I'm doing in my deck, just make sure you check out my prior video on this channel, and you'll get to see what I was trying to do with my deck here at the Scrolls Around the Block tournament. Sorry, I went to Vellake. I never actually pulled up a card that's, like actually relevant to this game. So let's start with, a card that might actually be relevant. Angel Under the Oak. Oh, it's the Angel Under the Oak, isn't it? See, I gotta learn my searches better. There we go. Oh, look at that. It's mad at me because there he is. Awesome. Well, let's go ahead and get into the game, and we will talk our way through it. Again, forgive me. This is going to be a new format, so I'm probably going to be a little bit slower. This video is probably going to be a little bit bloated as I kind of get used to this and try this out. Awesome. Okay, so we're going to start. I'm actually going to I will have won the die toss when we get started here. I don't want to jump too far ahead and accidentally miss it. So I won the die. I'll be playing on the left in the yellow sleeves, and we've got Marc on the right in our red dragon sleeves. Like I mentioned, I'll be playing primarily a green-silver deck, and then Marc will be playing a very defense-heavy destroyer deck with Job as kind of a win condition there. Thanks to Rob for covering the event. Again, I'm really sorry. Unfortunately, the last two videos got corrupted. Hopefully, you guys were able to watch those live, but we aren't going to be able to comment them. About half of the game between Rob and Marc is going to be in the end of this video that I'm watching on YouTube, but we're not going to get to that. This event was won by Charles Johnson. Unfortunately, he didn't get to play on stream at all. He's playing a Genesis Egyptians deck. I actually lost 5-4 to him in round 2. Very good, very close game. Real strong deck. Again, in Scrolls, Joseph is just a very, very strong character. Rescuing with Joseph and Benjamin as often as possible is usually a pretty good strategy, so he did quite well here. Looks like the game's starting up, so I'll be going first here from the left, and let's take a look. Okay, so I've got NT only and Color Guard. New Color Guard is extremely good, extremely relevant in the Scroots format. And probably rotation as well, if I had to guess. And then we've got Marc with the Punisher over there. You're going to see me take a look at that. I don't quite recognize that art because it's on the new Roots card face, but looks like we're all good to go now. So I'll be going first. You're going to see me drop an evil character, if I remember correctly, and make a rescue attempt with Angel Under the Oak. I had a really interesting draw to start the game. It was very defense heavy, and I don't play very much defense, so it was very concerning. I only had Angel Under the Oak as far as offense. I can see I can drop the magic charms there, and then Balaam, get that set up right away. Again, on turn 1, I don't think he's going to make outs that, so I might as well get that set up and be ready to block. Then I've got Angel Under the Oak, and this is where Marc just is going to start to assume that I'm playing a pretty standard Judges deck. So I think he's kind of expecting Gideon here because it's first turn. I actually got a Moses. Moses is the only option I have in my deck. I was already playing silver, and the reality is just Angel of the Oak is too good not to play when you're playing as much silver as I was. So I've got that in my deck. It's just a quick little 2-card combo. This is the perfect place to draw it. first turn, get 2 cards, get Moses. Kind of see what he has. Take a look. Unfortunately, he's going to have a Goliath in his hand, so that's going to be a pretty darn good block to my Moses. And I actually don't have another hero in my hand right here, so I'm just going to have to drop myself back into the territory. Goliath's a pretty hard counter to what I have going on right now. So Mark's really going to get to take advantage of that. Hopefully my YouTube doesn't lag too much on this video, but like I said, it's a new format. We'll give it a try. I think it's going to work a lot better for us here. I'm probably going to be a little bit slow on the Lackey uptake, but that's okay. Let's get ourselves switched over and prepared for that. Awesome. So if you're not familiar with what Goliath does, he's going to force a retreat here. There's so many Goliaths. This is actually a little bit harder. No, that's not the right one. I feel like it's gonna be harder than I thought. No, that's okay. Okay, let's see what Mark has going on during his turn. There's our Goliath. Okay, so we have a Pergamum and a Golgotha. So here, this is a pretty critical juncture right here. So right away, I'm going to be recognizing he's got a Pergamum and a Herod's Dungeon and Golgotha. Right away, this is obviously a sight lock strategy deck. There's no reason to be playing a Pergamum, without really going after a sight lock in particular. He's trying to prevent that Dragon Raid from coming into play, which can be the most common sight access used. This completely changes the way that I'm going to approach the game. I have 2 main ways to access these sites. I have a Daniel in my deck, and then I have Isaiah's Call, which gives site access. So I know I'm going to need to be protecting those at all costs. And I'm going to have to start to feel out his deck a little bit, because it's probably pretty defense heavy right away. You can make this recognition here. He's probably really committing to the site lock, especially with him not making a rescue attempt right here. So this is going to completely change how I'm looking at the game, and it's going to have a lot of impact on how I choose to play it out from here. Let's see what we got going on here. Oh, live coal, guys. I'm playing live coal here. Again, I put out my deck profile before this event, so Mark could have watched this. Unfortunately, he didn't. He maybe would have switched his site color. I've got that CBP soul here. Again, just kind of a meta tech against Fight by the Numbers decks. And then you've got the Lost Souls soul. This is an absolutely busted card. Mark's actually going to teach me here that it makes its own token when I draw it. I didn't know that. I was just playing it because it's such a great soul gen whenever I draw souls, and I'm going to be drawing a lot of cards whether my opponent does or not. But this is actually going to allow me to make an extra rescue attempt here if I want to, or to just overwhelm his sights. And in fact, it's so threatening that Mark's actually going to bury the Lost Souls soul here. I'm a little ahead of the recording here. And so yeah, see here, he's about to stop me and tell me like, hey, like you can do the Lost Soul thing. I'll be like, yeah, give me my free token, Mark. Thank you for your sportsmanship. You'll see me I'm asking some clarifying questions right here just to understand the rule and understand. So Mark's kind enough to explain that to me. I really appreciate the sportsmanship that we showed each other at this tournament. We had a couple instances of some situations like this where, speaking for myself, I haven't played in 10 years. So I really appreciate the help I got from some of our other competitors. And there's that burial. Unfortunately, like I mentioned, I don't really have any other heroes besides Moses here in my hand, so I have nothing to do. I have a hidden treasures down that I can't use. I'm just kind of hanging out, and I am waiting. So I've actually got to play some defense down. Like I mentioned, my hand is full of defense right now. I'm trying to decide which one to play, who to play. So here we got a show of Vittles. And this is actually setting up a Emperor Kai's Caligula in my hand. That's if a Roman is in play, I get to negate and discard a card other than a character. That's a new Roots card right here. You should be able to see that up on your screen now. So I'm baiting this in my hand, setting that up so that if Marc makes a rescue attempt, I can get rid of one of his sites. Again, this is just another nifty way to attack site lock here. A very interesting play here. Unfortunately, he targets my Vittles, which you might think is going to ruin my plan, but I actually have Terrifying the Beast in my hand as well. So Marc is not about to know what hits him. So I mentioned Marc's playing Job. Kind of around Job, you're going to see Marc playing a lot of territory destruction. So I'm trying to get the right one on the screen while I move my mouse. Boy. Marc's playing a lot of territory destruction around his Job, just to give him give himself something to do in between turns, and also to potentially get some free rescues. Again, you're seeing me checking out like, oh, Golgotha doesn't have a special ability. Great. Now, here we are. Awesome. So at this point, I don't really know what Marc's doing. I assume he's playing Fight by the Numbers banning on offense, and he was just trying to get a chump attack. So I'm really kind of confused by what's going on, but I think I've gotten enough information to know that he's probably not playing a lot of offense. It's probably small, compact, efficient. You'll notice in scrolls there's Scroots now. Oh, okay. So this is our first discard here. We got I'm Holy here. I'm discarding a good card from my hand to force Marc to discard a evil card from his hand. Oh my gosh, not even loading. My lackey isn't quite up to date yet. It's taking a while. I tried to get some help figuring that out, but it's still going to be a little bit shoddy at times. And again, please let me know how the new format's going. Hopefully this fixes some of the issues people were talking about. Still don't have another hero, so I can't really make a rescue attempt because I know he's just going to block with Goliath and push me back. So we got our first Fight by the Numbers Soul over there for Marc, negating all other special abilities. We've got Fortress of Antonia, which at this point I'm starting to get very confused about what he's doing on defense. And then right there we see, what is it, Dust and Ashes, I believe? Yep, Dust and Ashes. The Job artifact. Excuse me, the Job Fortress. And so then at this point I know what he's doing. So I've been able to clearly establish what he's trying to do. And I can move on from there. So here Marc's going to activate I Am Creator. And right away you're going to see me kind of lean forward. This because I have Destruction and Hushin in my hand. And I am waiting to see what Marc is going to do. Because this might sound weird, but I don't want to fall behind Marc. Because I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to break through a strong defense here. And I know that I don't have very many blocks in my deck. So depending on what he gets, I might play a Destruction here. And he actually gets a Jephthah. So he's looking for some territory destruction. Right away, I'm going to Destruction that. I recognize he's about to discard two characters that I'm going to want in play, whether any of those two characters I want to have throughout the game. Terrifying Beast is immune to blue, so very good against this Job offense that I'm expecting now. And I think it's really important that I wait and see what information Marc's going to give me about his deck, because it's going to start to fill in some gaps where I can make intelligent choices about what else he might be playing without having seen his deck yet. And then we've got the rescue attempt with our Roots Job, which is slightly updated, I believe. There he is, Roots Job. There we go. And I'm just gonna so this is a good stop. So he is actually utilizing Job's special ability, a special ability right now. Excuse me. Oh my gosh, my mouse is so bad on this full screen. I'm still getting used to this. And this is me thinking he is absolutely making the wrong play. So I want to point this out in my opinion. Again, I wasn't playing his deck, so I want to be fair to him a little bit. So as we can see, Job has the special ability of protect this card from discard abilities. You may exchange a card from hand with a Job enhancement from discard or pile or reserve. Cannot be negated. He's actually exchanging his Grapes of Wrath for Job's Faith, which just blew my mind when I was seeing this play happen. Switching a Dominant for an enhancement seems like a misplay in my opinion. I think Grapes of Wrath is going to do something throughout this game that he could benefit from. I found this to be very, very interesting in the moment, and I wanted to try to take advantage of this if I can. Again, you're seeing me kind of just reading Job's Faith and making sure I understand what it does. I think Mark thought he was going to be able to break through my defense more effectively than he's going to end up being able to do. But I would just say, on the whole, you probably don't want to exchange any kind of Dominant for an enhancement. That just doesn't seem like a good trade for value. So then we've got Terrifying Beast. Again, I know I'm immune to blue. Now I'm going to play Emperor Otho. Or excuse me, Emperor Galba. Emperor Galba is going to search for Rome and then force Mark to discard a card from his hand. I'm really just doing this for the discard here because I know that I'm about to play Magic Charms here. So I am trying to execute getting that extra discard here. Just kind of burning some cards from his hand. My goal here is to attrition Mark out of some of the things that he wants to do and just outlast him. Emperor Galba also is going to search for Rome, which helps to link my defense together a little bit by giving my Roman Emperors access to NT enhancements other than orange, which is particularly the pale green draw 3 mask in my deck. So let's see what's going on. This is watching two screens is definitely harder than what I'm used to. So props to you guys to deal with this on a regular basis. If someone wants to come type in cards for me in my house while I make videos, that'd be cool. Awesome. So we finally got a hero. Look at us go. We got Daniel, and now we're going to get to play Hidden Treasures. So we're going to be looking at Mark's hand. Let's see what we're doing. Oh, hey, Son of God. That's a great start. So my deck strategy here is to use Hidden Treasures to look at his hand and make an intelligent decision about how to attack. Attack with my Green Prophet, whichever one's the best choice. Discard an evil enhancement from his deck. If it happens to be Daniel, I can make a rescue attempt with Gabriel as in that band and discard 2 evil enhancements. Again, that's just very powerful to be discarding 2 evil enhancements. Mark actually only plays 6 evil enhancements in this deck, and let's be honest, that's not very many. I'm gonna be planning to discard 33% of them during this rescue attempt here, where I go with Daniel banded to Gabriel, I believe. Okay, I'm just going to do this in order. I apologize. I'm like half remembering what the commentary I did on this game last time, plus playing the game. So I've got a couple different things going on. You're going to see me just start to kind of mark things I might discard. So I pull Joseph in Prison. I pull Philistine Chariot and Horses. And here's where I get to kind of get a full look at his deck and kind of recognize what he's going to be trying to do. And again, it kind of confirms all the suspicions I mentioned. Sight Lock. Lets me know exactly what enhanced in there. He's got some things like Land Dispute to try to counteract sites that might be played, but luckily, or unluckily for him, I'm not playing any sites, so not much he can get from me here. We'll just put Gabriel up on the screen since Gabriel's about to come your way here on the screen. Oh, not that one. That's not the Gabriel that's coming your way. This is the Gabriel that's coming your way. So again, with Hidden Treasures, the artifact active, and then Gabriel, I get to discard 2 evil enhancements from Mark's deck. And he's actually going to destruction Hidden Treasures, so that way he doesn't have to deal with this, which I think is actually a very good, very intelligent decision on his part. He's recognizing what my potential strategy might be. It also saves his, I believe it was Wrath of Satan in this particular instance. Obviously, that's something I can target again next turn if I make a rescue attempt with Gabriel. But it does limit my options a little bit, so that was a strong play from Marc there. And he does exactly what I expect here and makes the pushback with Goliath. And then I'm hiding an Angel under the Oak in my hand with Striking Herod. Again, kind of knowing his hand, I know that he doesn't have really an out to this. So I'm going to win the battle here. I'm going to be doing some mutual destruction. And unfortunately, it's not actually going to discard Goliath. This is purely numbers because Daniel's negating Striking Herod right here. But I felt like discarding the enhancement was going to be more valuable than keeping Angel under the Oak because I don't really have any backup to this situation. Excuse me. What I'm trying to say is I want to get out there and drain his deck more than I want to keep Angel under the Oak because I don't anticipate that Angel under the Oak making a rescue attempt again. If I want him again, I do have Wheel Within the Wheel, in my deck that I could utilize. Awesome. So he gives me the 5 by the number soul, so that's going to turn his sight doubler on, and he's going to go into sight lock mode. Okay, we got Marc. Marc heading into his turn. His Job's gonna. Does it flip to his hand? I don't actually know where Job goes, but Job is gonna show up here sooner or later, and he's gonna be able to come right on back for a rescue attempt. At this point, I recognize Marc's probably used all of his artifact counters, I think, so I'm Holy's about to start bleeding him dry. And I'm playing for the long game here. I think my offense is going to break through before his offense is going to break through. I've got a very set up, established defense. I got a couple different options, from whether that's banding, whether that's trying to target specific special abilities. I've still got a Balaam's Disobedience in my hand that I drew on the first turn. So I got a lot of options here to potentially block him. It's more about maneuvering around Job than it is about being outwardly afraid of Job, because I don't really want to discard the 3 evil enhancements in my hand, 3 evil cards in my hand if he plays Job's Faith. Again, I really thought he should have attacked here. There's really nothing for him to lose, in my opinion. But again, I'm not quite sure what he's processing through there. Job's Faith negates evil characters, so the immunity actually doesn't matter here. He gets initiative against all of my characters. So again, I'm not sure where his mind's at, but I would have definitely tried to press forward and attack with Dust and Ashes active. So you're going to see me using Isaiah as fodder for I Am Holy. This is because Isaiah's call is going to pull Isaiah out later on. And so I'm just trying to use him as fodder to start to drain Marc's hand. It's very resource efficient to utilize a card like that I have in my hand that I know I can pull back as soon as I get Isaiah's call. So then we're going to do the rescue attempt, Daniel, Gabriel, and then we are going to go find our way to Wrath of Satan, I believe. Okay, sorry about that. There was a quick pause there. I'm not a professional, so I had to go get a power cord for my laptop. Let's go ahead and finish this game out. Okay, so I got Wrath of Satan, discard. We're making the rescue attempt. Didn't get to look at his hand, but I doubt there's much different going on there based on my last look at the hand. And also from looking at his deck, I know that there's kind of a splash character, so there's not necessarily a theme in place here. So it's going to make it easier to pick off some of his stuff. So he's got Herod the Great. I get to choose which character I want to withdraw. Excuse me, he's negating the band. Excuse me. Maybe I should just pull him up. Wouldn't that be great? There's going to be a lot of hairs, though. And then we've got the rescue him with swords into plowshares. Again, pretty confident that this is going to kind of get things taken care of. And that's going to move us to 2-0 right now. Just shout out to Baboony Tim, by the way. I love the little OBS trick you have for connecting to Vellake. That's going to be really useful, I think, for recording. Really appreciate the work that you've done, even in your short time here with us in Redemption. Let's see what Marc does. I think at this point he needs to recognize he needs to put on the gas if he wants to win this game. He needs to rescue. He needs to drain me. At this point, there's been a lot of resource attrition on his side, and he has not taken much from me. Scrolls are a lot about resource management and a lot about, I hate to say attrition, but just putting yourself in a position to be better off than your opponent. That sounds silly to say it like that, but we're gonna move over here a little bit, I think. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't be lying here in the middle of the video, but I do what I do. So welcome to amateur status. Ooh, Holy Grail. So we're going to flip Kai's Caligula into clay. Shockingly, I don't play any clay in my deck, in my Scrooge deck. That seems weird, but it's a pretty good call by Marc, I'd have to say. So unfortunately, Kai's Caligula is done. I always flip my evil characters upside down if they get converted by Holy Grail, just so that I have a good mark. I know that I can't block with that guy anymore. And let's bring on Job. He's got to come, right? Again, he's 2 souls behind. I've got Synagogue New Jerusalem coming eventually, so he really needs to get moving if he wants to win this game. Again, being really sure what Job does. I'm not afraid of not knowing here, so you can see I want to make sure I know exactly what I'm up against. I want to play my block correctly. Job is particularly challenging for me to get initiative against, which is why I'm kind of in like just a weird spot every time he makes a rescue attempt. Balaam doesn't get initiative against Job, unfortunately. Neither does any of my gray. So I'm really trying to figure out what I'm going to do about this. I don't think this is a common situation. I think there's probably most decks are going to have a decent number of characters that get initiative against Job, and this isn't as big of a deal because Marc doesn't really have anything to do once Job makes his, or should be other than Job's faith. And so with that in mind, I think I'm in kind of a unique situation here with the decks I'm dealing with here. So we're going to block with Balaam. So Balaam actually prevents the enhancement Job's faith here. So that's going to discourage Marc from playing it. And I'm trying to get initiative here to play Balaam's Disobedience, which obviously is a cannot be negated card. I think, I could be wrong here, but I think that Marc doesn't realize that he's being prevented right here. Not that it matters a ton here, but it just kind of wastes the extra card. And that'll get the block there. Very nice. Okay. So it's a great little trump block. Just again, I'm really just trying to delay the game as long as possible. I think I'm going to win as long as I can delay the game. We got Strong Angel here. That's some pretty good I Am Holy fodder. Unfortunately, I can't see. It looks like Philosophy that he discarded. His discard pile is just quite out of view. And I'll be right back. I'm going to have to pause this up again real quick. Sorry, I hear my daughter crying downstairs. I got to go help her out. Okay, we're back again. Jaden, let me know if Guardian ever interrupts your videos because he's crying at night. I don't think you have that problem, but I'm sure you guys understand. Okay, so we're making a rescue attempt with Cherubim here. Cherubim is my one other way to kind of generate resources from my reserve. I just have a bunch of prophets in there, including Ezekiel. And then I have then that's new Ezekiel. And I also have the Ezekiel enhancements and the dual enhancements that are crimson and green. Those are actually relevant here because they're going to discard sites potentially, but I'm just trying to get some more resources for myself. And then Cherubim also banned, so I'm really just trying to make a bigger band on my Daniel. So we're going to go Cherubim, going to top deck Ezekiel, and then we're going to be going to Daniel and to Gabriel. At this point, I've bled Marc dry. I believe I'm about to hit his last evil enhancement. So really, again, I kind of know this game is set for me. I'm just trying to play this out and make sure I keep my differential as high as possible. I don't want to let him get through with Job. So I got to find some cheeky ways to block him. And then from there, kind of close out this game. This is going to get me to 3 if I win this rescue attempt. And then just kind of waiting for the big 2. See what he blocks with. Looks like he's doing some math here. He's trying to figure out exactly how the band is working. Oh, okay. So what happened here actually is we forgot that the Punisher is a thing, which is really, really unfortunate for me because I don't have any site access here. And unfortunately, I'm triggering the Punisher now. So he is... Interestingly here, he's going to go ahead and block me. He's trying to just prevent those resources from coming into play in the future. I think, again, this is a pretty strong decision. He's just trying to limit my options. I think he's probably not expecting much else to come out of this. I considered using Angel of the Lord here because Cherubim is very good. But at the end of the day, I didn't feel like that was going to be the best play for me at this exact moment. I probably should have done it, though, because you're going to see I'm actually eventually going to Angel of the Lord into territory. And, again, we have a Christian Martyr in territory on Daniel, just from a site access perspective. So I think he feels like that's what's going to lock me out of the game and give him enough time to win. Got her. And he's converting Balaam. He converts him to like blue or something silly like that, if I remember correctly. Again, trying to spread out and just give me more brigades to make Punisher a little bit harder to eliminate. And then we've got the Job rescue. We're getting Job's faith, just like we do. I don't know that I've shown Job's faith yet, so why don't we pull that one up so you guys kind of see what I'm trying to maneuver myself around. Okay, Job's faith and roots. So that is what we are trying to maneuver around. Again, it's just very awkward. He's negating my immunity with this card. He's forcing me to discard cards from my hand. So I need to know exactly what's going to happen if I block him. I don't want to discard a resource that I actually want or put myself in a situation to lose a battle that I expected to be able to play a card in without kind of knowing what I was going to discard. Okay, so we got Terrifying Beast, and we are going to band, it looks like. Trying to decide who to switch to. I believe I'm going to do Galba, force him to discard a card from his hand here. I also have Pontius Pilate in my hand, which I believe is the other card I'm kind of considering here. And then we've got Job's Faith. Again, so he gets Priest of Christ back, and then you're going to see me, again, knowing what I'm going to discard is when I went into this battle, and then knowing that he doesn't really have anything else going on. So let's see, it looks like Augustus. Yeah, that was all I really got was Augustus. And then we're going to play Nameless Horses and Chariots. Draw 2. And this is actually going to put us into a stalemate situation. which is, again, those are the kind of numbers that I'm trying to add up when I'm thinking about this block here. So I'm putting myself intentionally into stalemate. And that'll win me the battle because I know he probably doesn't have another enhancement behind. So very effective battle for me. Again, I've delayed this yet another turn. I've maintained a resource in Terrifying Beast that may even potentially be able to generate some more stalemates because of his high numbers. And we've got Isaiah's Call. So I think here's the point where Mark's going to realize he doesn't really have much that he can do. I also recognize Isaiah's Call is going to get negated by King of Tyrus if King of Tyrus blocks. So I believe this is where I'm going to end up playing Angel of the Lord into the territory. And that's going to really eliminate the last barrier to getting access to these sites to win the game. I've still got a couple battle lane enhancements here. We'll go ahead and I am holy away Michael. Again, just forcing out that last bit of defense that might be in Mark's hand. He's been playing with I'd say like a 4 to 7 card hand for the majority of this game, so I know there can't be much left in there. So I'm kind of playing the table at this point and just assuming there's very little, if anything, in his hand. That if he had a character, I have to assume he would have played it down for I am holy. Yep, and there's our Angel of the Lord. That's going to get us access the rest of the way through. And then we're going to head in with that side access to Isaiah's Call. Even if he has something to block, I've got, I believe, 2 bears in my hand at this point. And as we can see, it looks like he has a 3-card hand right now, so there's not much happening in there. And he's counting his way here. Going to give me a sight doubler. Maybe not. He's thinking hard. We're a little jumpy today too. It looks like we're lagging out a little bit. 4 cards in hand. Let's see if we can reset this for a second. Let's try it again. Oh, he gave me a token. There we go. Missed that up there. So I've got 3 to Mark's 0. I'm kind of surprised he didn't play the Son of God right here, but perhaps he's waited out. He assumes I would have played Son of God in Jerusalem already. I don't have it in my hand, so it's all fair. We've got Job returning. We're gonna have to make our way through Job again. And we got a Chariot of Fire to shuffle all those heroes back. Pretty nifty addition to his deck. Obviously, he can't lose Job, so he's got to play a couple different redundant ways to potentially get his heroes back if necessary. Again, I think that's one of the downfalls of this type of deck. He's playing a lot of redundancy to protect Job. He's playing some dead cards with sights, and I think that's really the difference here. Is none of my cards were dead, and I was able to extract extra value from them through things like discarding cards with I'm Holy. So even when I need to discard, I'm hoping to generate value out of that. I think that's really been the difference here in this game. I've gotten a lot more value out of the cards that are available to me. And we've got Job's Faith coming back again. Going to go with the classic Terrifying Beast block to pilot this time. So this lets me look at his hand and then choose some stuff for him to choose to discard. I'm really just trying to look at his hand so that I know how to make the rescue attempt next turn because I have Son of God in my hand. Weird Disciples, Pontius Pilate. There you are, guys. So again, I'm at fully. He's going to discard whatever evil card I pick, so I'm just taking a look at his hand so I know what I have to rescue against. So he discards. I pick the character. He goes ahead and negates Pilate. Negates Pilate. So Sister comes back, but again, I still know what's in his hand, so sets me up for next turn. Let him make the rescue attempt and play Falling Away. And then I'm going to actually grapes that, and that's That is primarily. Wait. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm discarding Falling Away. That's what I'm doing. So I'm grapesing that because I know that there's not going to be another character behind. So this is a really safe grapes. I'm able to grapes the enhancement as well. Did I? See, look at me. I'm like half paying attention. I apologize, guys. Can I get backwards here? There's the 10 seconds I got on phone. Oh, well, either way, I don't think it's going to... I apologize for half paying attention there. I missed that. But either way, I've graped it, and that's gotten me another block, another game. Or, excuse me, another turn for me to make my rescue attempt and try to win the game 5-0. But he's got Son of God in his hand, so I know we're going to eventually see him kind of handle from there. Nope. Oh, not gonna I am holy with that one. I am holy wheel within a wheel. Again, just drain the hand. I know what's in it, so I know what he's gonna discard. But in case I get surprised by something, it's worth going through the motions here. And just I've got a lot of extra resources and he does not, so just go ahead and make him discard. And he discards the Stone of Tebez. And now we're going to be rescuing here with Isaiah. Got some sweet side access. He plays Son of God. Recognizing that I'm about to win the game, most likely. So now we're at 3-1. We got 4-1. And there's that Son of God for 5-1. You can notice my sweet art on there because that's a second covenant violation. So I had to cross out the Jesus picture. So I think it's a really good example of a scrolls game. Well, I guess what it really shows well is just the resource attrition that occurs in this format. It's a lot about positioning, and it's a lot about getting value out of your cards. There's not as much search in this format, so you're going to see a lot more. I would say, like, maybe the way to say it'd be a lot less specific cards in play. So there's going to be a lot of cards that are generally good, not a lot of cards that are very, very specifically targeting things. So I apologize, guys. And you're going to see a lot of different options available to try to just hurt your opponent a little bit more than they can hurt you, and hopefully that pushes you far enough to win the game. Yeah, so thanks for tuning in to Redemption Metagaming again. Let me know how this format went for you. Hopefully this is a little bit better than what I was doing on my other laptop. It definitely feels a little bit more professional. Whether or not it actually is another story. I'm sure I'll get better at this type of format as I get used to it. And obviously I have Vellake now as well, so you can look forward to some game recordings in the future. I'm going to try to play in the next Vellake Grand Prix, so hopefully that gets me some good content for you guys. I don't really know how to play rotation though, so yeah, you'll be learning right along with me. I'm just going to be using probably cookie cutter decks that I get from other people. Or I may build my own. I have one list that was built before the Thomas J. Chambers Memorial Tournament, though, so it was built without Honeypot in mind, which it might be a challenge. I'd have to reevaluate a little bit, but don't really have any lists beyond that available to me at this point. So I'm just kind of net decking other people and trying to learn the format more than anything. But again, still it's gameplay, and then we can kind of go back together and evaluate my gameplay and how did I do. So thanks so much for tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you again in the future here at Redemption Metagaming.